The biggest realization that has helped me to learn how to have a better relationship with myself and to see myself in a loving way is to realize that I have been perfect the entire time that I have been alive, and nothing else has changed to make me imperfect other than my perception of myself. And when I say that I'm perfect, I'm not talking about this egotistical definition that we have of perfect. I never make mistakes. I'm better than everybody. I could never do any wrong because I'm absolutely perfect. I'm absolutely flawless, and therefore I'm above everybody else. That's not the type of perfect that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the type of perfect that I am already whole, I am already enough, I am already perfectly created as I am. And the only reason that I feel like I am imperfect is because somewhere in my past, I started believing that about myself. And someone else told me that I was imperfect. Someone else projected onto me that there was something wrong with me, or with the way that I looked, or with the way that I came off in the world. And therefore, I started believing that something was wrong with me inherently. And we just believe that we're imperfect because we look at somebody else or we look at society, and we don't look that way. We don't have those personality traits. We don't have that extrovertedness, and therefore there's something wrong with me. But the thing is, if you are not perfect, you would not be here because the universe itself is perfect. So therefore, if you were not meant to exist, you would not be here right now. Because if everything in the universe is in a perfect system, then nothing comes into this universe without it being perfect. And therefore, there's nothing wrong with the way that you look. There's nothing wrong with your hair. There's nothing wrong with your features. There's nothing wrong with the color of your skin. This is what is meant to be, and you are meant to be this. And this is perfect. And there is nothing wrong with your personality type either. The thing is, we think like, oh, I have to be this, I have to be more of this, I have to be more extroverted, I have to be more charismatic, I have to be more talkative, I have to do all these things to please society, to fit in, to have people like me, and then I'll be perfect, then I'll be worthy, then I'll have all these things. But in reality, you've been perfect the entire time, and it doesn't depend on if people like you, if people see you, if people value you, if society sees you. The thing is, they don't know what perfect is. And so we started to believe ourselves as imperfect because we started comparing ourselves to society's standards. We started believing that I had to look this way in order to be perfect. I had to act this way in order to be perfect. I had to make a lot of money in order to be a perfect person. But in reality, you didn't need any of these things because you came into the world perfect. And nothing has changed since the day that you were born other than your perception. The main reasons that we suffer is because the ego tricks us into believing that we have to become perfect, that we have to do certain things or look a certain way or obtain a lot of money in order to become perfect. But there's no such thing as becoming perfect. Because how could you become something that you already are? And this is why so many people spend their entire lives chasing after these external things, thinking that they're going to find more perfection within these things. But in reality, there's nothing that can make you perfect because you already are. And so the key to really start healing the relationship that you have with yourself and to start seeing yourself in a better way is to lose all of these judgments that you place on yourself. And basically, the only judgments that we have are the things that other people have judged us for before. We're just recycling those judgments. And when you lose those judgments, you start to understand that, hey, there is nothing wrong with who I am inherently. There's nothing wrong with the person that I am today because nothing has changed other than the way that I've seen myself. And so the main thing that needs correcting is just your perception of yourself. And sure, it's going to take a minute to unlearn all these things. It's going to take a while to reshape the view that you have on yourself and realize that this whole view that you have has been a conditioned pattern that you believed about yourself for many years. I don't know how old you are, but maybe it's been decades that you believed that you were this conditioned pattern of thoughts and behaviors that people have projected onto you. But once you set yourself free from this, everything is going to change. Because once you leave behind all this conditioning and put down all of these mental patterns that the ego has constructed for you that you've been identifying by your entire life, you'll start to awaken to who you truly are. And who you truly are is already perfect. And yes, we can always work on our character flaws and the things that we need to work on to become better, kinder, more open-hearted, open-minded people. But in this video, I'm talking about these flaws that we have perceived ourselves to have that don't actually exist. And I'm not here to invalidate your insecurities. It's just me helping you to realize that The entire time, there's been nothing wrong with you. You've been perfect. You have looked perfect this entire time. You have had a perfect personality, because as you are right now is absolutely one of a kind, stunning, beautiful in every single way, because it came to this perfect universe and it came into existence. And if everything in existence is perfect, then that makes you perfect too. So it really just starts with healing that perception of yourself and realizing that the perception of yourself that you have right now probably came from all this conditioning that you've been conditioned to perceive yourself by. But once you start creating your own perception and you start seeing yourself as you are, and as you are is perfect, I promise you, your entire worldview and the way that you see yourself and the way that you go through this world is going to be a whole lot more confident and a whole lot more peaceful. I love you guys.